Hey there, folks, welcome to the channel. Today, let's talk about how to start with web development if you have, say, never actually done any sort of coding. I'm assuming you don't know anything about web development and don't have any programming experience whatsoever. Now, in that case, I will recommend you to go forward and check out the Harvard CS50 Introduction to Programming course, link down in the description. It is a course crafted perfectly for beginners to help them get a taste of what programming actually is and what is there in the core of all of it. You can do your own research and you will slowly understand core programming concepts, and as you give it more time, things will start to make sense to you. Now, as you progress more in your journey and you learn HTML and CSS and you know all the light stuff, you will realize that you need a programming language to write the logic of the code. HTML and CSS gave you the structure and design alright, but now you need language to bring your designed projects to life. Here, keeping future prospects and opportunities in mind, you have two options: JavaScript and Python. Now, when I was at this point in my web dev journey, I chose the JavaScript path. Well, that does not mean that the Python path should not be taken, it was just a personal preference. Now, all you need to do is go forward and learn it. Since I know the JavaScript path, I will talk about that only. I remember I made 3 projects with just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I think you should come up with your own simple projects to test if you can implement what you have learned until now. My beginner projects were a JavaScript clock, a website that gave back weather data, and a chat application. Now, the chat application was a bit hard to make back then since I had to use a technology called socket.io, which uses WebSockets. But I had help from the community actually. I was in a few Discord servers where people were really helpful, and I had a lot of help from resources like Stack Overflow too. So now, after you have mastered making builds with vanilla.js, which means making projects without any JavaScript frameworks like React, I will say it will be the perfect time to move on to frameworks. Now, between backend and frontend, I will prefer you learn frontend first because it will be easier for you to understand how the two sides, that is, the frontend and the backend, integrate. So, first start with the front end and then move on to the back end. When you learn frameworks, you will realize how efficient and easier they are to write code in. Frameworks like React.js have huge community support, and pretty much any problem you run into has probably already been faced by someone and solved. And again, this is the time to do more and more projects. Projects are the only way to consolidate what you have learned in dev and build that self confidence you always feel you lack. As you learn Node and React, you have, by theory, become a full stack web developer. That is one big achievement by itself. But doing more and more projects will help you understand and solidify different concepts you might have missed and fill the knowledge gaps that might have remained. As of now, the full stack projects I made are a note taking application, a travel application, a music player application, and a food ordering application. But it is not an exhaustive list as there are more I will be building in the future. Now, the journey you take is completely dependent on you. You can go on to learning cloud technologies and DevOps, or maybe explore app development, or maybe move on to Python and explore machine learning, or maybe even go deeper into web dev. You are inherently at a point where you don't need anyone to tell you what to do now. This is where you need to decide what your future journey is going to be. And it is not like you have to choose any one field of the many ones I mentioned. You can always explore as many fields as your time and energy permits. So folks, that was it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Comment if you want to see more content like these, and I will see you all in the next video.